Narcissism is a pestilence that needs to be stopped. Uh, Understand that these lower-tiered psychopaths, although they are a problem, they are not as big of a problem as these big dog psychopaths. Because when you encounter the lower-tier psychopaths, although they can do a lot of damage on the ground to us lay people, they do not have the capacity to cause as much damage as, say, a psychopath who also has $1 billion budget. So, this problem is becoming, it's increasing. It's just become a ubiquitous thing to where the masses now have to deal with this. This is a very serious problem. It's increasing. These social media platforms are making people more apathetic and more prone to narcissism and roboticism. So they're turning humans into robots, which means they have no capacity for empathy. They're so desensitized to information that they're so used to seeing violence and different things in their reality, which is a virtual reality. They are not even in actual reality, that they become so desensitized to these just terrible things happening, violence. It's just completely bombarded people's consciousness that then when a real live person is in front of them with a problem, they now have no capacity to be empathetic towards that person. So these social media platforms are creating people who are psychopathic, and I believe that's by design, or it was kind of a unintended consequence, but maybe actual psychopaths, I believe, that were already psychopathic are, they probably like this because that is the form they are already in. So why would they care? That would be a good thing if you're actually a psychopath already. If you're human and you like being human and you don't want to be an apathetic robot, then that would be a bad thing. It just depends on which side of the coin you're on. So, anyway, we know the dangers of narcissism. We know that narcissists have zero empathy, and if you have zero empathy, that means you could literally stab someone to death and not care. So give that person a $1 billion budget, and that's a very dangerous combination to have those two things together. So, it's quite frightening times we're living in. I'm not as concerned about these lower tier psychopaths because although they're an annoyance and they can cause severe damage and they can pick people off one by one, big dog psychopaths are a lot more frightening because they have the budget to actually cause serious mayhem and damage. Now understand, narcissists love seeing people squirm. So if they can instill fear in the masses and, that's going to make people squirm. They love control. They love doom and gloom. They love death and destruction. These people are not human. They are subhuman. Now, I would like to think that they are only a small portion of the population, but now, since people have been given platforms that make them lean more on a psychopathic scale, that is a very dangerous situation, because even though these psychopaths were a small percentage of the population, they now all have within their hands a device that could turn them into a psychopath. Any kind of electronic, Kindle, iPad, iPhone, smart TV, PC, laptop, all these electronic devices have the capacity to turn a person into a psychopath. Now, it's rather mind-boggling that anyone would give a child with a developing brain a device such as this. If you are a parent, you should never ever in your life, I mean, it's not really my position to tell you what to do with your children, but I would certainly not have one of those devices anywhere near a child. I mean, even when they're of age, like 18 years old. I just think it would be better if you actually train your children to not use the devices, because first of all, their brain is not even developed yet. Secondly, this thing is someone's calling me. Anyway, these devices emit radiation, so why would you want all that radiation around the child's brain, which isn't even developed yet? That would be a bad situation. So, there's just so many different negative directions this subject is going in, and the dangers of the internet, the dangers of psychopaths increasing in society, the dangers of people in power being psychopaths is a very frightening thought, because, like I said, if you have no empathy, you can put a serious harm on someone and not care at all. So would you want those types of individuals in charge of all of humanity? They don't care. They love death. They love chaos. They love seeing people squirm. They're obsessed with power and control. They're obsessed with controlling the masses. The devices have already been given out to control the masses. These things can be there are a lot of dangers involved in these electronic devices. A lot of dangers. They can be used very negatively and turned against people. They can track your every move. They're extremely dangerous, as is this 5G technology. That it just destroys your health. I mean, it's extremely bad. I've been researching it. So, what's going on now is quite chaotic. I don't want to speak too much on it, because I don't know all the details, so I don't want to add to any misinformation, because they're not going to paint a whole picture for us. They give us bits and pieces, and then you have to kind of read between the lines and connect the dots from the information you can find. And then the information that isn't there, and then you have to decipher whether the information was planted on purpose. Is it fake? Is it real? Fake news? Real news? There's so much to decipher that you have to actually decode all of the information, and the information could be planted to mislead you into one direction, to divert you from what's actually happening. So, mostly I pay attention to what's going on outside, what I can actually see and experience. Talk to different people, get second opinions, different people who are trustworthy, bounce ideas off people, look at information on the internet. And you have to kind of decode and kind of figure it out from there. But anyway, narcissism is an absolute pestilence. It's spreading, it's a disease. It absolutely has to be stopped because, I mean, it's a danger to everyone. It's a danger to every human. It's a danger to the planet. We're talking about extremely dangerous individuals, and if those individuals have large sums of money and power, that is a very scary thought. So, stay calm. Don't feed into different fears, but keep your eyes peeled and watch closely what is going on around you. Observe the skies, the sun or lack of sun, the moon or lack of moon, and just pay more attention to what's going on. Because these are very frightening times, and we need to know what's going on around us. So, narcissism is a disease, it is a pestilence, it's spreading, and it needs to be stopped. Enough is enough.